Hello. Hi. This is Tigrafidun. It has been way too long since I recorded a video. Apparently real life exists, and I don't like it. Please take me out. Uh, anyway, new cinematic by Riot Games. It's about the new Darken. So yeah, every single spoiler you can imagine, put it here. Like every single spoiler you can possibly imagine. If you're a person that has any gripe of spoilers, get out right now. Watch this for yourself. I have already watched this. This is not a blind reaction, but I want to go through it again and talk about this thing because god damn it made me want to make a video. Ready? Let's go. So, first off, uh this exact like at starting from the beginning. When I saw this, I was so fucking worried because I was like, okay, this looks like that one tapestry of the hand they had originally in the comic, where he had a mask, he was pale, he was white with white hair, red clothes, and I said, are we getting another white guy that's supposed to be from fantasy Egypt? But let's see the rest.
Do not belong here, sirs.
That is technically objectively wrong. You do not belong here as a hen, so because your Shuriman Shinjao is actually from Ionia. Anyway, look at the architecture. This is such good thing by Studio Fortiche, right? I believe this is Studio Fortiche. So Ionia is famous for, or at least used to be famous for, not building houses, but rather singing to trees to become houses for them, like a mutually beneficial thing. And now we're seeing a sanctuary in the spirit realm from ancient Ionia that shows us how deep this tradition goes. Let's keep going. I love the liquid feeling of this. I love that. It looks like a sea at the ceiling.
That what you are?
Is that what you are? Gods. I love how he's both disgusted and curious when he's saying this. Because, first of all, the Darkin used to be Ascended. And then the Ascended were the Sunborn God Warriors of Shurima. Uh, they were oppressive colonial expansionists, super soldier tyrants. And after the empire fell, all of them claimed godhood. All of them had their own worshippers, their own armies, and they start tearing Runeterra apart. So yeah, Shinjao being both disgusted and curious. I'm like, do you really believe that? Like, Zahen, your whole shit has been not agreeing with the ideals of your dark kin, you know. Also, look at this. I love this. Such like tiny trinkets, tiny thing, and the fact that Xin Zhao has earrings. This man is gay, man. Like, I know, earrings mean nothing, but this, come on, this this is this is fantasy storytelling. This is visual storytelling. He has earrings, and not just any earrings. At least to me, these look like Demacian colors. It's silver and blue. Like I can already headcanon that J3, Jarvan III, his definitely not boyfriend and only master and king, gave this to him. And since we're technically like 7 years before canon, when Jarvan III actually dies, yeah, like, no, this is completely heterosexual man, uh, clean-shaven Asian guy with earring in his 40s that is really obsessed with how his king would have looked in the visions, and like, no, he was never cruel like that. Yes, I can imagine, Shinjao. A side tangent. Let's keep going. Atahan. Atahan. I will call him Atahan because they put KH. They could have just not put KH. I am Ilson. I will read KH as H. But look at my boy. Look, I love that there is fluidity. There is
Your answer.
look. Atahan is a liquid, as we just saw. Atahan is a fluid, at least is a goop, and he's blurry as fuck. It's not just because I'm running this at 1080 because my monitor can't handle like 2K or 4K, but Atahan himself is a blurry blob. And then this is Zahen. He's already struggling to control Zahen, even at pure weapon form, because we know Darkin need a physical host. Atahan is not a physical being, he's a demon. Anyway, look, he's trying to impose himself. He's trying to impose himself so hard. Look. And he can wield the Darkin, but he cannot wield Zahen, like the power that's supposed to be there. And then our girl with 3 miles of cleavage, but then because of Fortiche being actual design actual humans, her waistline has been buffed and her uh, bra size has been nerfed, so she looks like an actual human and less like a League of Legends TM woman. Um, I love this design. Like, remember, this design is so good that we as fans of this universe managed to make Riot make adjustments to the rework to look like this, specifically with the golden and black eyes. And look, we already see like hints that this might be an illusion, aside from the fact that this whole place is a dreamscape and LeBlanc cannot physically be here because she's supposed to this at least this LeBlanc, this specific body version of LeBlanc is supposed to be thousands of miles away back in Noxus Prime under the Immortal Bastion. But look, we have something. We have like her instead of having sleeves, it's like bleeding into her skin like ink. And we have already seen ink is a motive for LeBlanc's magic, like one of the motives. Let's keep going.
Does not relinquish power.
Evil does not relinquish power. Ain't that relatable? And here comes Yunara, blur, motion blur, and smooth time. Pop. Um, Atakan, I think you got it wrong, buddy. Like, I'm not sure you know, but the half the point of screaming is showing your teeth. You have none, my friend. You, what are you trying to scream about? Like, I know you're a demon and your voice doesn't come out of your vocal tract, but you're mimicking it. Also, these eyes are just stones. I love them. These they look like stones. And of course, it just corrupts. Even if the tree was holding back the hen's darkened corruption, Atakan himself is corrupting everything. And he's trying so hard to take control, but let's see.
Must have known you could not hide forever.
One thing you'll notice, Atakan is a predator, but he's not exactly sapient because, as we have seen before, Atakan is not just the demon or just the man. He's an unholy fusion made by LeBlanc and her coven way back in the days of Sahnuzal. Um, that he's the fusion of Khatashli, the man, as a physical anchor, I believe, and Atakan, the demon, the bringer of ruin, which used to be red, but now since they fused, he's black. Anyway, also, Yunara struggling. I don't know how to feel about that. Like Yunara struggling from the beginning of the battle, specifically since because she's supposed to be this confident ancient warrior specifically put there to take care of a fucking Darkin if he ever came out, starting to like ah moaning and gasping against the demon when like she's not even like actually punching. She's directing telekinesis orbs. I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Beyond the veil.
Also, why did she do this? Like, what was the purpose of just sending this thing around? Is it to gain momentum, I guess? I vaguely remember her abilities in game. I have not played actual League of Legends in a few years because Riot Games keeps adding more and more and more and more and more and more and more predatory monetization to it, and I just quit. Anyway, bomb. Let's look at the wall destruction. Okay. So I'm noticing this because I'm watching TB Skyline all the time. But look, the wall isn't the same wall between two frames. See, look here. See, coloration changes. The entire wall shifts. Like it's this probably a mix of hand drawn and like 3D modeling, but this wall isn't like the same image like distorted. It's like painted over separately. Look, the color changes. Anyway, nice little detail. I'm a story guy. I'm a writer guy. I'm not an animation guy. Anyway, so yeah, apparently that was momentum again. Let's see. Okay, Wolfpunk. We have a sort of superhero thingy where your eyes suddenly refuse to see when you're using powers. I guess here it makes sense if she's actually like going blind, but if it's just the Batman eyes, I'm not sure about it. I'd like Yunara in general, specifically that she's allowed to have eyebrows. That's an important thing. Trust me, specifically in women's designs.
Seen beyond the veil. Watched as the spirit of the first lands roared to life.
Watched as the spirit of the first lands roared to life. When? Shinja, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, watched as the spirit of the first lands rose to life? Spirit of Ionia would mean what? Karma? Or like the Vastaya Shere? I don't know. Or maybe he just means seeing the spirit blossom that was planted there in Demacia by LeBlanc bloom there. I, I, I have no idea, honestly. Oop, here comes a second motif for LeBlanc. Thorns. Specifically chain thorns. Because she's the black rose and roses have thorns and it's black and it's rose, so it's you get it. Do you get it? Like do they have to be more subtle? And also it has blood motifs because reasons. We'll get there. But why does this look like it's getting absorbed into Shinjao's glaive? What? Look at the Kirby particles here. So if you do not these blobs of power were inventions of I believe Jack Kirby, first to show like differentiate like cosmic beams from normal energy beams, but yet why are we using Kirby particles here? I don't know because LeBlanc's powers are not supposed to be blood magic. She's not supposed to be a hemomancer. Ink motif again? Okay, I see you have used your W from the game League of Legends. More thorns. So basically what she did here was she did E1. So she did E1, she keyed W, and then E2, which is like her R. But that shouldn't have been possible because once LeBlanc uses one spell, her ultimate automatically shifts to that spell instead. So she should have done double W's, but again, that's the game mechanics. It doesn't matter. Anyway, also our boy Shinjao just casually outspeeding literal magic because built different, like the average Asian guy in Fantasyland. Look, look at the speed these things are moving at and how fast Shinjao gets them. Look, did you see that? One, two, three. Zinzhou gets that in 3 frames, 3/24th of a second. Like, it's not just about seeing it, because the human eye just can see to like 200 frames per second, like, but his reaction speed, Jesus fuck, man. Look. And this one, two, three, four. In 4 frames, these things travel that much, which if you like compare to Xinjiao's height, I believe it's a lot. Also, funny thing, Bionara is her. It's like her model is frozen because limited animation. She doesn't need to do anything except maybe flap at the pants a bit. Anyway, average Bruce Lee wannabe. Also, the tiger stance for some reason. The Hungar Kung Fu tiger stance.
only to see it all burned away in an instant.
Jesus Christ, this man is fast. Like, I understand it's supposed to be like, I don't know, the equivalent of his ultimate in game, that he can just deflect shit. But come on, this is impeaching on Jax's territory. Like, anyway, she uses W again. Also, I love the fact that here, like, she almost seems naked because the shadows, like the ink is covering all of her, or the shadows. And again, they still look like ink because they're supposed to. Like, this looks like more form stuck, like venom shit than because she's still wearing the cloak, But again, she's this. It looks more form fitting because of ink. I I guess that's a terrible place to pause, but I wanted to check. Wraps around and thorns. So I guess whop. But God forbid we see any blood. Look, literal thorns dug into her bare skin. But God forbid we see blood because, children's video game. Oh no. Look, nothing. Nothing. Not a single blemish. Nothing. She's fine. She's fine. God, I hate this. Like, uh, I have been a teenager. I have been into the whole Riot Games obsession with cleanliness. And that, like, specifically, especially the female characters aren't allowed to be dirty at all, or like they have to get the bare minimum, and like blood, tears, dirt, and scars. But come on, man! You just showed us very explicitly that the thorns dug into her skin, and that's why she lost concentration on her D&D spell. Anyway, let's just continue.
Fallen, and the temple's defenses are destroyed.
Temple's defenses? What defenses? There were no defenses. You guys just Kennen did cast one spell and shoved you inside, and they were like a bunch of dreams trials, I guess. There was no actual attack or defenses. Come on, Shin. Anyway, Atakan struggling, and here we see that it's trying to get corrupted by the Darkin. Like, I I'm not sure he had this pauldron the first time we saw him, so this is supposed to be like one of the aspects of Darkin is that they give you natural armor, and that's the form of corruption they usually do. But Atakan is failing to be corrupted, even though he's trying. Also, one thing I want to see: Atakan's skin. Atakan skin, reflective scales like a disco ball. That is so interesting to me. I love that so much. And also, again, Atakan is liquid ink. A bunch of ink, a whole bunch of ink because LeBlanc's magic. And yep. So, if you remember, when they were releasing Mbessa for League of Legends, they said, from here on out, we cannot make any promises that champions in game will be alive in lore. And here we have another example. Xin Zhao is dead. Yeah, he just died here. Yes, I know he just got a rework about this, and like all the Xin Zhao players, myself included, were so excited for the new design, but our boy's just dead. He's just dead. The one in the game doesn't exist anymore. You were fooled. You were deceived. And like I suspected this, right? Because like visual clarity, and uh, you have to you have to justify having two glaive champions in the same game because their silhouettes are gonna collide, even if you try to fix it with animation and like tacking things on the model. You have to justify, Laura's, why do we have two glaive guys? Because in storytelling, uh, one of the things that is common is to avoid doing the same shit twice, unless that's the point of writing it that way. So yeah, usually if you want to introduce a new one, you just erase the old one by killing him off a lot of times. You are trying to save her, but nope. I'm sorry, girl. His plot armor ran out. His boyfriend is gonna be real mad now. So yeah, I guess Jarvan 3 never gets to give Shinjao the letter, and Shinjao never gets to raise their son anymore. So what the fuck happens to Demacia? Who knows? Yes, yes, like no, they're still pretty straight, but like non-perfectly straight line teeth. Teeth have a curve. I know my dad's a dentist. I also have teeth, of course. Yes, yes, blemish, blemish, dirt. Even though no scars, but dirt. God damn it!
There's no one left.
Also, I'm still not seeing blood. Are you guys seeing blood after a glaive ran through someone's midsection? That is usually full of blood. That usually like spills your guts on the floor if it actually happens. Also, people giving a gay eyebrow look, pondering homosexuality. Anyway, and he just touched the bullshit MacGuffin. He touched the sword in the stone. How did he know that touching it would affect it? I don't fucking know. Like we know as like audience who have read the lore that you so much as touch a darking weapon, you're gone. Darken takes over. But Shinjao didn't know. And okay, let's forget into the good part. Just see.
Your power will darken the world.
Your power will darken the world. I know it's darkened, but come on. Riot can't help themselves with puns. Puns are funny. Puns are awesome as a literary device. And this is supposed to be like the Shuriman Desert getting corrupted by Atakan, I guess.
Without you, Shin, you know what you ask. I know exactly what I asked.
No, you fucking don't, Shinjao. You had, you have never seen an actual Darkin in your life. You do not know firsthand the thing this species, I guess, this subspecies of ascended and humans is capable of. You were not there when they basically murdered everyone everywhere all at once. But again, main character syndrome because he is the main character actually. Let's go.
Sacrifice everything to save
And
this
here
world
comes the
once.
best part. Look at my boy. He's beautiful. And not for the reason you think. Like, yes, he is hot and almost shirtless and covered in gold and silk, and he is bald and he has guy liner. And this slutty golden slit makeup, but he's so pretty. So, if you don't understand why I'm getting swooning over this guy, aside from the obvious hotness, is that a bunch of times, usually in media depicting a fantasy version of the Middle East, usually our ethnicities are like removed. Like we are either treated as these demonic monstrosities looking nothing like human, like the movie 300. Fuck that guy. Fuck fuck everything about that movie anyway. Or we are depicted as just whites. Yeah, no, they're just white people. Yeah, there were always white people there because Aryans are whites, and I guess Aryan goes back to the root of the word Iran, and those are in the Iranian plateau, which is in the Middle East, which means they should be white. No, no, fuck you. No, 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 fuck you. Uh, we are not white, specifically not all of us. We have lighter skins and darker skins. We have the entire color spectrum of skins throughout West Asia. And specifically, a person who's supposed to be from fantasy Egypt, fantasy Egyptian god man, should get to look as if he wouldn't get immediate cancer under the sun. I love this. I love this. Fortiche, you have again proven that you do not need to pander to the generic expectation. Just a simple thing of having him look as if he's from an equivalent of the Middle East. So beautiful. So beautiful. This is the one thing that makes me tolerate Zahen no longer being, the Secretary Bird slash Goshawk that he was in the comics that we saw, even though I believe that was a better design. This is the one thing that redeems it for me. Good fucking representation. Good God knows we're deprived because of Orientalism.
Let me do the same. I cannot hold him.
And Zahen doesn't want to because his whole thing was that he did not want to become Darkin. He literally quit while he was ahead before he got corrupted before he got the power to corrupt others. He quit, and that's why he's so reluctant. Like this is antithesis to the exact reason he went into self-exile. But Shinzhou is asking for him to essentially, basically imagine like Sehen told everyone, if I keep staying here, I will kill everyone. And what Xinzhou is asking him is come out of your exile, kill everyone. That's how Zahen is seeing it. I still think if it has two A's, it should be Zahen, but I guess you pronounce it Zahen, so fuck do I know. My boy! My boy! Look at the massacring my boy! Slut. Look at him. Look at this slut. I love him. His little headscarf. His his frills. He has armbands that drop silk up to his down to his ankles. I know what you are, Zahan. I know what you are. I love this. I have to keep saying I love this design. And golden fingers. So, if you don't know, change of coloration at the tip of fingers as symbol of witchcraft is an is an old trope, and the reason for that, at least one of the reasons for that, is because one of the evidence witch hunters claimed for someone being a witch was if the tips of their fingers were black, because that meant they were working with nightshade family plants. And nightshade family are most often very, very, very poisonous. You know, the Aconitum family. But also from that same family, we have potatoes and tomatoes. So there's that. But yeah, that's why it's a very common visual signifier that if someone is, specifically in Fortiche, that if someone has magic, the tips of their fingers change. Another interpretation you can have is that this is the only thing that has remained golden and godly about Zahen. This is his last vestiges of divinity. The only thing he's remembering from the golden age of Shrima is like it's at the tips of his fingers, sliding away. Which is also a cool interpretation to have. And the Darkin wakes up. Shinjao touched the weapon. Zahen finally touched back. And then the eye wakes. And here comes the process. Oh boy. The one thing Zahen never wanted. And we see actively in real time as Dark and Corruption happens to Immortal and how fast it happens. Because that thing is happening in slow motion. Not it's that fast. My boy. My old man Yaoi, no! Look at the massacre, my boy! Godfather reference, for those who didn't get it. I love that his skin looks alive, and not for the reason you think. So, the reason Dorkin exist is because they got traumatized and corrupted by fighting the Void and later using blood magic. And one aspect of the Void we saw is that it turns objects alive, like Victor's sex core. And this thing that, like, as if like his skin plates breathe, like these are like breathing vents for like skin breathing, which some animals have. Ooh, I love this. And of course, you know, red, black, and gold is the darkening colors. Twinkification. He's getting yassified in real time. He's getting yassified right in front of our eyes. Goodbye, Shinjao. You were the best old man I ever loved. Goodbye, Seneschal. Third eye. Because of course he has the disc on the forehead. He has the same thing but corrupted now. And then we reveal, damn boy, damn boy, the fact that you can form a fist with those nails is impressive. Well, talons, I guess. Let's check. There's difference between claws and nails. No, no, they seem to be nails because so you see, claws are part of the bone, but nails are part of the skin. This thing doesn't look like as if it's sticking out and curving out of the flesh like a part of the skeleton. It's look like just nails. So I guess technically these are not claws. They're just long nails. 9-inch nails, boy. Let's go. And here, witness the power of the Shuriman God Warriors. Zoop. And of course, LeBlanc never gave a shit because she was never really here. She just wanted to test something out, apparently. And such is the power of the sun. And of course, this is also the Gandalf scene, aware of the light. But also, you know, I love this look. Boy, just see up until here, he's fine. Like even like you can see Atakan, like you can see some creature here, but they suddenly he isn't anymore. Behold, John Asia. Let me explain the joke when we get a better shot. We didn't get a better shot. So, you know, very obviously, Xinjiao is based on East Asian people. Zahen is based on West Asian people and North African people. So, with the fusion of East Asia and West Asia, we now have a whole unified, perfectly Asian character, I guess. And of course, because both of these bitches gay, we have very slutty Shendit. Uh, yeah, I believe that's the name for the Egyptian men's skirt thingy. It's called Shendit or Shendut. I'm not sure. But yes, Zohan, you're such a slut. We're back to the League of Legends shirtless emo boy era. I, hey, this thing is pandering to me specifically, so no complaints here. Uh, again, the bird would have been objectively better, I think. But hey, hey, if we're going purely by hotness factor, I can't say shit. That, that if you think this isn't hot, you should try again. Like I'm sorry, you're wrong. You are just you have not expanded your horizon. You have not read enough books about demons to understand. You have not been as chronically Tumblr brained. Look at him, John Asia. But I guess he looks generally more East Asian, like in his features. The skin tone is more close to like North Africa, West Asia, but like you see the eyes, the lips. It looks like Xinjiao in the face more than Zahen. I guess that's fine. I loved Xinjiao way before Zahen was a character, so goddamn. Anyway, uh, like, huh? Do you recognize her? That's the question. How would Yunara react after these? Because they were friends. Like Zahan and Yunara were actually friends. That's why she chose, like she accepted to watch over him. And of course, then we cut to League of Legends logo, but then to another thing. And it's darkinified. Did you get it? It's darkinified. Ooh. And we're back to Astarion at home and his sugar mommy, which I I hated this take on Vladimir so much that he became Astarion at home. Because okay, first of all, I love Neil Newbon. I specifically love his performance as a vampire Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3, but to turn Vladimir, which is supposed to be the opposite of what Astarion was in that game, into that archetype, it's just bad. Like Astarion is supposed to be an abuse victim which can either learn to break the cycle or perpetuate the cycle of abuse, right? Vladimir, if anything, is the abuser. He's the equivalent of a Cazador Sar in Baldur's Gate. Vladimir isn't a vampire twink. No, Vladimir is a god. I mean that literally. Vladimir isn't just, the head of his order, the Crimson Circle. Vladimir is their god. The Crimson Circle was formed from the worshippers of Vladimir. When LeBlanc found this guy, he was being worshipped by the early Noxii tribes as a local god. Because, he is insanely powerful. As far as we know, he is the most powerful human hemomancer in this universe. Just like LeBlanc is the most powerful illusionist. and they're equals. Whereas in this White Room and everything has happened so far in this White Room, Vladimir has been objectively submissive to LeBlanc, and that's just not how their dynamic is or has been in the lore since I have been reading, since 2016. So yeah, also his fashion choice is a bit basic for Vladimir. It's better than his in-game design. Everything is better than his in-game design, but it's still too basic for the extravagance that Vladimir is supposed to invoke in people. Also his hair, like, man, that's such a basic hair for the character Vladimir is. Let's finish this. Now we have the plot twist, because there always has to be a plot twist, specifically with villains that keep failing at every turn. There always had to be a plot twist to say, no, it was actually all in my plans. The helmet breaks. Atakan is finally dead. He's not free. He's straight up dead. And she's pleased because, again, I said, the most common trope from like the 60s with villains that never ever win but are always told to be the most powerful in the universe is that, especially when they're supposed to be masterminds, is that the narrative suddenly goes, "Oh, it was actually all part of my plan." I'm probably doing the most terrible Alistair from Hazbin Hotel expression in the world, but bear with me. I will ramble about this when it's finished.
Even demons can be undone.
Then we look at this. So, very, very obviously, this is a crow, right? This is a raven. This is a crow. Uh, and what that signifies is the crow demon, the demon of secrets, Raum, and that we saw at the ending of Arcane. He's the patron of Swain, or they are technically, demons are genderless. This is the Leviathan worship of Swain, I believe. And so apparently this entire super expensive trip by LeBlanc that bred a Darkin into this world was all to figure out, can you kill demons? Like, girl, I'm pretty sure there were other things you could have tried before just going nuclear option. Like, if you want to see if you can, melt a new element, you don't immediately hit them with a cobalt nuke. Like, have you tried furnacing it first? Like, come on. But again, Raum is much more powerful than Atakan. Raum is one of the, or I think it's heavily implied that he's one of the first 10, the 10 demons in Noxian mythology that are supposed to be the most powerful. And yeah, that was Twilight's End. Not gonna lie, I have mixed feeling about this, so I'm more than happy to discuss it with the rest of you. I think Zahen's human design was good, good representation. At least decent representation. I think the Darken design of her could have worked better if it was just the bird. I don't think it was necessary to kill Jinzhou, even though I had suspected from very early on. Because the moment they said Darken Glaive, I thought to myself, okay, so Xinjiao's rework is just going to be turning him into another champion. That's what I thought. And then they released an actual rework for Xinjiao, and I was like, what the fuck? Then how do you want to resolve this? Like, you specifically told us it's a darkened glaive, then showed us the one guy who wields a glaive in this universe. And the only common conclusion you can take from that is that this guy is going to go there and take that and become that guy. And now he did become that guy, but in League of Legends, I guess both of them are about to exist at the same time. it's again Riot Games' terrible consistency in gameplay problems and dissonance between game and lore. Strike again, I suppose. Oh well, we tried. Please make sure to like and subscribe, or comments good things, comment bad things, engage with the video. Thank you. Bye.